By what techniques, methods can I cultivate equanimity when my loved one is suffering? Suffering, I don't know what you meant in here, but turning to yourself, you are already suffering. Without noticing you are already suffering, then you're ready to think about others. We all are suffering. Who is not suffering in this world? If you are considering any mundane who are living with ignorance, desire, and hatred, we all are suffering. Is the nature. But I know particularly you meant in here sufferings means if there is kind of difficulties with that person, kind of sicknesses, particular sicknesses, something like that. For example, someone who is suffering with cancer, you don't have cancer, but someone else is suffering cancer. So I think you want to get to know about this kind of situation. So equanimity has different level. The highest level is the level that you can see through the Arahant enlightened ones. We as a mundane, we also can develop this equanimity in some degrees. So to cultivate equanimity, these qualities with us, there are only three applications for that. We have to develop our wisdom. To develop our wisdom, yes, of course, we have to practice generosity. We have to observe precepts and we have to meditate. These are the only applications. If someone thinking, okay, I need to develop only equanimity, therefore I want to do only these things. But is you want to practice generosity, that's not enough. These three applications you have to apply together. It's like a tripod. You can see this tripod. It has three legs. To balance the camera, you have to balance three legs. Otherwise, you are not able to balance camera. So therefore, these qualities are increasing and developing, cultivating yourself with the help of these applications. Generousness, morality, and mental exercise. These three things are working together to develop our mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. So there is nothing particular things that we can emphasize, okay, for equanimity, this is the only thing that you can do. But there is particular things that you can keep in your mind. Someone is suffering because of kind of sickness. Instead of living with that painful thoughts yourself, you have to be generous. You have to apply your skills and experiences as well as your energy to help that person. To help that person. This is important in that equanimity. Today, in this world, we have kind of tragedy. What is that tragedy? People are enjoying some difficulties. If someone they are facing some kind of difficulties, without knowing, they are enjoying it. How? For example, just think about if there is a car accident or fire. What is the first thing that you're going to do? You are taking your cell phone and starting to camera. That's the first thing that you're going to do, don't you? Generally, in this world, we can experience this. This is the situation. This is not equanimity. This is not generousness. What is this? This is ego. This is ego. Why? I mean, as a human being, if you are practicing and if you are developing your loving kindness, compassion, sympathy, joy, and equity, what is the thing that you have to do? I mean, it's supposed to come automatically yourself to do some things according to your capacity. According to your capacity, plug together and work together, do something to prevent them and to help them. But instead of this kind of generous generousness, what they are doing, they develop an ego. Ah, I have this video. I have this video. For what? What you can do with that video? You can earn money selling. What you doing earning money through that video? That developing your ego. So this kind of situation is there because lack of knowledge. They don't know what they're supposed to do at that time at these kind of particular situations. They don't have that knowledge. They don't have that experience because they are lack of these qualities. They don't have loving kindness. They don't have compassion. They don't have sympathetic joy. They don't have equanimity because they are not practicing. They don't practice any of these applications. So then how we can think about these qualities? It is impossible to have these qualities to see through these young people. That's why around the world, always we have ego now. We have egoistic thoughts now. They just paying attention to protect myself. If something happening to me, that is the time I feel, oh, I'm helpless. Until that moment, we don't feel it. That's why we are uh, reducing without knowing, without our awareness, all these human qualities. To develop these qualities, yes, of course, only these three applications are there to apply to our day-to-day life. Then, definitely, yes, we can cultivate equanimity. It is a result of this practice, these applications. Are plants living creatures? Plants are living things. There's a difference with living beings and living things. What's the difference? Consciousness or mind. Plant doesn't have mind, but living beings, yes, of course. That's why when we are talking about abstaining from life in five precepts, we are not considering plants there. Plants are living things, but not living beings. But as a high ordained monk, not supposed to even cut plants. That is different. But in five precepts, it does not there. In five precepts, only concerning about living beings, not living things. So living beings means they have mind. Plants have kind of sense. That sense is not a mind. It is not the mind. Sense faculties are there. I mean, through the sense faculties, they can react. It's happening with plants. But they don't develop their sense as a plants. That's why they are not living beings. But living beings can develop in some degrees, particularly human beings, they can develop their mind. They can develop mind. Other living beings also, they have some kind of opportunity, but not like human beings. Human beings can develop their mind, their thinking pattern, they can develop, they can increase. That's why one day you can become Buddha, you can develop your mind. That's why one day you can attain enlightenment. You can develop mind, it's a possibility. But living things are not like that. There's no way to consider as there's a mind they don't have, but they have kind of sense. They can react, they can react to the actions. It's happening. There was a famous research done by Jean-Jacques Rousseau using two plants. So through that story, it exactly says, yes, they have sense, but not consciousness. So therefore, as a lay follower who observe 5 precepts, 8 precepts, if they are doing something with plants, taking out or cutting trees, is that they are not breaking that precepts. Is marriage essentially a positive karma or is it different? Merits, the Pali word for that, punya, punya. Karma, as you mentioned here, positive karma and negative karma. According to the Chullakama Vibhanga Sutta, it's explained black karma, white karma, karma, kaya karma, all these categories are there. It means positive, negative, wholesome karma and unwholesome karma is there. Merits, the word merits explained in the commentary is Hadayang Punatiti Punyam. When you have clear mind, as a result of that clear mind, happiness arises in your mind. Happiness is arising in your mind. That is merits. In that moment, you don't have anger, you don't have desire, you don't have ignorance. Without all these things, you have happiness here. That's why it is positive. It is positive. That is positive. That is punya. It is the results of your wholesome action, wholesome actions. So now you can see punya or merits means happy state of your mind as a result of your action, purifications of your mind from defilements. That is punya. But you have to be very careful there. I like to share a story. One day, I was having a class with my friends, and that day I was talking about punya, merits. And then I explained to them, punya means happiness. You can gain happiness, it means you are enjoying punya there. You are gaining punya, P, merits. So somehow, after that class, another day, I was walking on the evening somewhere, and then accidentally I met my friends who were there in my class. Then I asked, "Hello, very nice to see you. Where are you going?" Oh, one day we went to meritorious deeds. They replied, but we went to meritorious deeds to accumulate merits. So then I was surprising because I was the only monk there. What kind of meritorious deed that they can engage without me there? Somehow I want to make sure with them, and then I re-question what kind of meritorious deed that you guys were enjoying there, engaged there. Oh, one day we went to pub, having social gatherings, drinking alcohol. We were creating our inner happiness. Like you said at the other day in the class, gaining happiness is marriage. So we did that. That's why they said so. We went to meritorious deeds. So then I invited them, okay, don't forget to come next class. I have to give more explanations about that merits. So then I was very careful there to explain other parts also. Happiness should be without desire, hatred, and ignorance. Very important, ignorance. Otherwise, even a hunter who is in hunting, taking aim, killing any living beings, deer or squirrel or anything, they can be happy. Oh, my target, I achieve my target. They can be happy. Who are in other activities, aim in any living beings to kill, taking their aims and achieving the goal, they also can be happy. But that happiness is full of ignorance, desire, and hatred. Therefore, these kind of happiness are not considering as merits. It should be without ignorance, without desire, without hate. Is the happiness that we consider as merits. So it is good karma. It's wholesome karma. So therefore, if we are talking about merit, essentially, yes, it should be positive karma. Positive karma. Can you hold to the belief of anatta or non-self and believe the soul is eternal? Soul is eternal, that believes is there with Hinduism and few other teachings. The Buddha explained there is nothing to take as eternal thing. Because where is that self? Where is that self? There are few methods that you can apply. You can take 5 aggregates and taking 5 aggregates, try to find where is self. You can take 6 bases which we have in this body. You couldn't find any self there. And you can take 18 elements. Analyzing these 18 elements also, you couldn't find anything beyond that. All the elements are there. So then, how we can have that belief, only believe, blind faith? Oh, there is self. That's why in the Buddha's explained, the Buddha explained, there is nothing to take as eternal self. There's nothing. But the thing is, we don't have ability to to see things as they are. This is the problem that we have. We are unable to see things as they are. As a result of this weakness, we have beliefs. What is that beliefs? There is some secret. There is some secret. If there is something that you can recognize, you are not ready to turn into yourself. This is my foolishness. You are ready to say, there is something we couldn't understand it. That is our ignorance. But we are not ready to claim as an ignorance. We are ready to say there is something. That's why years ago, when we have rain, the people who were there those days, they believe rain is a result of deity's compassion. Rain, we have rain because deities, they are very compassionate. They are helping farmers. They are helping living beings who are on earth. Their thoughts as a creations of deities. But now we know the circle. Even the young kids who are in grade 5, 6, they also know the circle. Water evaporate with the help of heat and then collecting as the clouds. When the time comes, it's ready to come back again. We know this system. So after that, we don't have any more that concept. There would be some people still, they have that concept, but that is not real. So when we realizing the truth, so then we don't want to depend on any beliefs, any blind faith. So therefore, non-self, that concept is there with us, the self concept is there with us because of our ignorance. We are not able to see things as they are. Another example that you can think, we can make fire here, taking some dry woods, debris, and lighter, collecting all these together, we can set fire. Seeing all these activity, at the end we can see flame there. So then there is some part that we couldn't recognize. We are not able to understand there's some hidden thing. So therefore we ready to claim there is a God to create this fire. There is unseen beings to help this fire. We are claiming that. Why? There are some unseen, unrecognized things for you scientifically. Without that ignorance, you ready to claim to the gods. Okay, God created it. It is your ignorance. If we're able to analyze everything in here, what is happening here is a cause and effect. So then you can realize the truth. So then you don't want to claim to anybody for that. But because of our ignorance, we have thoughts there is eternal something. This thought is not something that started recently. Billions and billions years, this thought is existing, this concept is existing in this human world. We have to be wise enough to understand it, so then we can claim there is nothing to claim as eternal self. But around the world, except the teachings of the Buddha, all other philosophers, all other scientists, all other religious leaders are claiming there is something eternal. But we have to be wise enough, we have to be smart to analyze this cause and effect to see the reality. According to that cause and effect and reality, there is nothing to claim as eternal thing, claim as eternal self. There is nothing. It's just make a belief. I know through these explanations, there will be so many other questions in your mind. If I did so, I'm success. That is my duty. making confused. I'm trying to understand the purpose of the monastic life more deeply. It seems there is a beautiful balance. Yes. On one hand, the intention is vast, extending compassion to all living beings. On the other hand, the daily practice appears deeply proceed on personal cultivation, mindfulness, study, and wisdom. Could you please elaborate on how this personal inward journey of monastic is understood to be the most effective way to benefit the wide world? Okay, I know what you want to know. There are four kind of people who are practicing teachings of the Buddha. Male, female. In Pali it says bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, upasaka, upasika. Lay male, lay female, bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, monks, nuns. But these two words are not really giving meaning according to real Pali words. But monks and nuns, these are borrowing words from another culture. You might have different concept about that. But bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, that's the Pali words. Bhikkhu means, there's a meaning. There are few meanings there. Sansare bhayanikatiti bhikkhu, who has fear about this birth and death circle, they are bhikkhu. Bhikkham yachati bhikkhu, who are going arms round asking food to live, to survive, they are also bhikkhu. Chinna binna patataroti bhikkhu, who are wearing a cloth, kind of cloth, collecting piece of cloth from here and there, they are bhikkhu. So very important explanation is there, sansare bhayanikatiti bhikkhu, who has fear about this birth and death circle, they are bhikkhu. When you have fear about something, you are always protecting yourself. You always protecting. So this is the nature of bhikkhu. Bhikkhuni, same meaning, they are the females. So lay follower, men or women, it doesn't matter. They also have same fear about this samsara, but their strength level is very low. Very low. They have a lot of duties, responsibilities in their lay life to take care of their family members, to help their neighbors, to help the ruling system, the governments. Many responsibilities are there with that lay life. So therefore, they have very small time in their time frame, pay attention or give attention to their own practice. But bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, they're away from the lay life, and being away from the lay life, they are paying full attention. They're paying full attention about their practice 24/7. So this is the difference. You as a lay person, you also have same applications, same as monks, but in different level. As I mentioned about living beings and living things, you as a lay person, yes, You can cut trees. It's not a barrier. You can marriage. It's not a barrier. You don't want to practice celibacy. You can enjoy with this sensual world with sensual basis. That is fine. But as a bhikkhu bhikkhuni, you have to practice celibacy away from this sensual pleasure. Always you have to be mindful there about your practice. About your practice. So this is the difference with this practice. Otherwise, there is no different goals for monks and lay followers. We all are in same boat, but different speed. We are in highway, we are going through local ways. It takes time. You have traffic lights, and you have sceneries, you want to stop. You have coffee shops there. You like to have chats there. So all these barriers are there. There's the difference. Otherwise, we all are in same boat. Keep in your mind different speed limits. You have local speed limits 25 miles per hour less than. We can drive 75, 70, sometimes 85. If someone in Texas, they can go 85. Okay. Please share how to see the music which is constantly playing in my head. Turn off the switch. Very simple. Okay, I know what you mean in here. Pay full attention on your practice. Pay full attention on your practice. Developing your mindfulness. Yes, you can turn off that sounds. It is not something real. It is something coming with delusions. So therefore, we have to control our ignorance, desire, and hatred. Through this spiritual growing, we can turn off that. So you need to practice it. Through the practice, yes, you can do that. When practicing Metta Bhavana, the powerful feelings of goodwill and compassion arises. This feels like right sankalpa. Samma sankalpa is there. Samma sankalpa means at the end you can see loving friendliness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. All these qualities are there. Nekkhamma sankalpa, vihimsa sankalpa means these qualities. Yes, that is true. Practicing Metta Bhavana, powerful feelings of goodwill and compassion arises. Yes, Metta Bhavana means that I'm curious how the teachings guide us to build this inner cultivations with right action. It means that practical level. Samma Kamante. Little while ago, you got opportunity to listen to Bhante Chandaratane about Samma Kamante, right action. How does one ensure that the deep goodwill and peace develop in meditation efficiently translated into helping others in the world? How you can recognize your metta, how you can recognize your compassion, how you can recognize your sympathetic joy and equanimity. Through your feelings you can recognize, as well as the way how you are living in the society, you can recognize. For example, that we mentioned there, if there is something happening, some kind of accidents or some kind of tragedy. What you're going to do there, that is important. Whether you are growing or to see whether you are growing these qualities or not. If there is fire, if you are trying to control that fire, if you are trying to help the people who are in the fire, so it means your compassion is working there. Taking camera, you are trying to get videos, the best video, you don't have any compassion there. You don't have any loving friendliness there. You don't have any equanimity there. So through the action, you can see what is your development level. What is your development level is. Through the action, you can see it. There are people who are, I mean, even though they are not ready to share anything with others, they don't ready to share anything with others. They always try to get things from others. Your generousness is not there. Your compassion and loving friendliness is not there. It means your practice not supporting to develop your insight. So through yourself, the way how you are reacting at the moment with the situation, you can recognize where I am, where I am. No one want to judge it. If you are judging someone else, that is wrong. That is wrong. You have to recognize yourself, how you are reacting there. This is very important. Not other reaction. You have to think about your reaction, how it feel me when something happening. Crying is not compassion. Keep in your mind. When something happening, some people are ready to cry. That is not compassion. So I'm sharing your sadness. That's why I'm crying with you. That is not compassion. That is not compassion. If you are able to share your knowledge, experience, time, energy with that person in that situation with others, benefits for them, that is the time that you can measure how much compassion, how much loving kindness, how much sympathetic joy and equanimity that you develop there. There are people, even they don't like if someone crossing their property, they are not tolerating about that. They are not tolerating. I remember next to our neighbor, there was a sign put by that neighbor. What was that? We love guns. You might be our moving target.
Mm.
What does this mean? Is that compassion is there? What happened if someone, if someone wanted to cross that property, what would be there? Is there any damage, any harmful things there? No. This is the way how the human beings are live, lack of their compassion, lack of their loving friendliness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, all these things. That is the nature. Nothing to do with that. It is so. Turn onto yourself. Turn into yourself. You can see in that kind of situations what kind of reactions that it's automatically coming through you. That is the results of your cultivation of your wholesome qualities, your mind. Don't try to see outside. Try to see things through yourself. This is very important. Can we achieve Sotapatti in this birth? Yes, of course. Why not? Human beings are the beings who should have that ability. But keep in your mind, without developing your energy and effort, it's not happening. It's not happening. There is no shortcut. People believe to find, I mean, they have some kind of ideas, thoughts to find shortcut in their practice. Not you don't see those kind of things. Sometimes we can see with the traditional Buddhist countries. If you heard some news about someone's enlightenment, they are rushing to see that monks and offering something to that monks. Why? Taking piece of his enlightenment. They are said. That's why they're trying. It's not happening. I mean, helping, offering something is a golden opportunity for us. That is right. But don't think just offering something to that Arahant being that you can get piece of that Arahanthood. That is completely wrong. It's not happening. That's why even the Buddha attained enlightenment himself, became the Buddha. Ravana was asking heritage from the Buddha. And then the Buddha turned into Venerable Sariputta and then let Sariputta know, Sariputta, Ravana is asking heritage. Then Venerable Sariputta took him to temple and gave ordination. After ordination, Venerable Sariputta advised him to practice meditation. Practice meditation and other activities. So then practicing himself, he was able to attain enlightenment. He was not able to take any piece of enlightenment from the Buddha. Okay? So therefore, to attain Sotapanna, saying sadhu sadhu is not enough. Okay? You have to practice it. Yes. Human beings are the beings who has this energy. They are being born as a human being. It means you can be born as a human being. You can attain Sotapanna. This completely depends on your effort and energy. That is up to you. No one can help there. Only you have to take care. The practice of mindfulness has made me curious about the specific practice of Vipassana. Is it appropriate for us, and this within the schedule? Would you be kind enough to introduce it to us, perhaps as part of our mindfulness practice? Mindfulness is the result of your practice. Mindfulness means it is a result of your practice. Mindfulness is something that you have to achieve. The word mindfulness, misusing. In the society, you can hear even sometimes in the train station, be mindful to take your belongings. You have that announcement there. Be mindful, there are some steps. You can hear this announcement. So therefore, the mindfulness, the word that we are borrowing from this language, and then we try to get the meaning what Pali mentioned in Sati. This is kind of difficult things. Mindfulness means it's a result, but sometimes some people, even in general conversation that we can hear, I'm practicing mindfulness. I'm practicing mindfulness means they are meditating, that's why they are saying so. But mindfulness means achievements. Mindfulness means achievements. But in Western psychology, they are using this word, mindfulness word, mindful eating, mindful walking, mindful dishwashing, all these things, the general words that they are using, the general concepts, which is not connected with that Pali word sati. So, samatha and vipassana, circle meditation and insight meditation, these are kind of techniques of our meditation practice. Both of these practice techniques are supportive to gain mindfulness. It doesn't matter samatha or vipassana. Through samatha practice, you can, yes, of course, the maximum you can achieve concentration. But through vipassana, you can go beyond that. What is that? Wisdom. Wisdom is the result of your vipassana practice. Even though wisdom, achieving wisdom, you have to go through these steps. Samatha or vipassana, it doesn't matter. Both applications are suitable there, applicable, and then you can develop mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. There is no wisdom without concentration, no concentration without wisdom. But wisdom is the result of your vipassana practice. But concentration level is the maximum achievements that you can achieve through samatha, circle meditation. Both meditation techniques are valuable, applicable for practice. But samatha techniques was there even before the Buddha. Samatha techniques was there. The unique technique that Buddha introduced is vipassana, insight meditation technique. It means through the samatha practice, there were achievements which we call dhyana. First dhyana, second dhyana, third dhyana, and fourth dhyana, all dhyanas you can achieve. But there is no any skills to achieve Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahat. These sainthood level are impossible just practicing samatha, circle meditation. But Yuganatha, the Buddha said, the word that Buddha used, Yuganatha, equally, and using vipassana, you can practice samatha, or practicing samatha, you can turn into vipassana, you can practice both in the samatha. Either way, you can practice these things. There's no difference. But through this vipassana and samatha practice, you can gain your mindfulness. You can develop your mindfulness. It's not different. Oh, vipassana mindfulness is different than samatha mindfulness. There's no way. Don't take it that way. I'm trying to understand the teachings that breath is from is a form of dukkha. Breath is a form of dukkha. At the same time, human breath is considered previous and the only way to encounter the Dhamma and achieve enlightenment. How can we reconcile this? How should lay followers approach the decisions to have children, knowing it brings both this birth, I think this is birth. Birth is a form of dukkha. Yes. Knowing it brings both this great suffering and this is opportunity into this world. Birth is a part of dukkha. What is dukkha? Unsatisfactoriness. Why we have unsatisfactoriness? Because of our ignorance and desire. Ignorance and desire. That is the reasons to be unsatisfactory there. We are not satisfied in this very life. through eye, ear, nose, tongue, all these bases always connecting with objectives, but we are not satisfied with these objectives. Sound, taste, feeling, sensation, all these are there. None, but they, any of these are not supportive to carry on our happiness. One thing is very supportive for our happiness. For example, when you are hungry, if there is something that you can eat, you are happy. But when you have more things to eat there, while you are eating, now your stomach is getting filled, you don't have that interest anymore. So you are not happy there. Take piece of more and more piece of bread, piece of something else, then you are rejecting. No, that's enough, that's enough, that's enough. I'm full, I'm full, I'm full, I'm full. It means you don't have any interest anymore there. Same thing at the beginning, when you were hungry, you were very happy to see those things and to help. If someone offering you, you were enjoying there and you were very thankful to that person. But when you are full, if someone try to give more, your anger is arising there. I said once, don't offer anything. That's enough. Anger is there. At the beginning, you were very happy, but same thing became angry object to arise anger in your mind. This is the meaning of unsatisfactoriness. That's why we spend our whole life looking something, searching something. That is the nature of unsatisfaction. This is dukkha. Why we have this dukkha? Because we are not able to see things as they are. We are not touching reality. That's why we are suffering. When we are living with ignorance, so we are living with desire. Desire is there. So when these two things are together means anger and all other unwholesome thoughts would be there. No one can avoid that. This is the nature. So birth is the time that, birth is the main part that you can recognize all these unhappy stages are arising because of the birth. But not only birth, even some other things which you can't see before the birth, there are some avidya pacha sankhara, sankhara pacha vijnana, vijnana, all these process was there. All these steps are suffering. The first one, avidya, ignorance. So therefore, not just only birth, all these steps make unhappy stages for us. Basically, you can keep in your mind where desire, where ignorance. These two things are the things that create unhappy stages in our mind. That is suffering. Okay. This one is related to the questions we had before. If there is no self, then how can these be past lives? If there is no self, then how can there be past lives? Past means not this moment. Past means not this moment. Already past that. So, even though you couldn't find anything beyond 5 aggregates, 6 bases, 18 elements, but you have concept. I born in 1920s. I hope nobody is here. Still I'm living. Now I'm 105 years old. The person who is over 100, that person ready to say, I born in 1920, so far I'm living, still I'm living. How you can say so? So far I'm living. How you can say? What are the facts that you have? There are some facts. What we call that manasikara, manasikara, sankhara, accumulations. Through your mind, you had been collecting so many informations. Through that information, then you're ready to say, I have been living over 100 years. I have experienced more than 100 years, that you can claim it. What is the facts that you can prove it? Sankhara, accumulations. These are the only facts that you can accumulate. So the person who is claiming, who is over 100 years old, is that person can show us 1930, the year? Is that person can show us? No. Is that person can see himself? No. So then what that person have? Only feeling, sensation, accumulation, all these things. Through these things, that person ready to say 1930 or 1945, there was a World War II. I was army soldier those days. This is the way how we fought with our enemies. All these explanations would be there. Through what? Through these accumulations. Through these accumulations. So, therefore, there is no self, but you have ignorance, desire. Through this ignorance and desire, you had been accumulating so many informations through your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and the mind. All these sankhara accumulations are there as a fact. It is also part of our ignorance and desire. That's why we can say, yesterday we were here to participate Q&A session. In the morning, we got opportunity to listen to Bhante Dhammagaru. All these are facts coming through what? Coming through our accumulation. Okay? It is the nature of our ignorance and desire. That's why we can claim about past and also future. And also future. I will be announced after this talk. Take a 10 minutes break, come back after 10 minutes. Is there anyone to come after 10 minutes? No one in reality, in absolute truth. But conventionally, we can assume 10 minutes we can spend outside and come back again to meditate. We are talking about time period. So if there is no self, how we can talk about these things? So these are the conventional, and these conventional, we have to think about, we have to see the nature of our accumulations, sankhara. Or the leaf behind the altar is from which tree? What does it symbolize? All these leaves, I think you are talking about that wine. These leaves are plastic. It's not from a tree. Those are from a factory. What does it symbolize? There is nothing any symbolize. Huh? You're talking about the glass. Yeah. Okay. Yes, the Bodhi tree. Bodhi tree is The tree which was supportive, the Buddha, when he was meditating to attain enlightenment, he was sat on a tree which we call Bodhi tree. So that leaves is symbolizing that tree, Bodhi tree. But Bodhi means enlightenment. Bodhi means enlightenment. Yes. Okay. How I can cultivate true, genuine compassion for others? I can meditate on the words. I wish everyone to be well, happy, and peaceful. But I do not feel in my heart that the right intention is there towards people I don't know. This is not something surprise. This is the nature. You can practice the first level, you are practicing, developing your loving kindness, compassion yourself, and then you can share it. All these are genuine. There is no true compassion or genuine compassion. Compassion is compassion. So, but I think your question is how you can see this real in action towards others without judging, without thinking about any other categories. This is the meaning. It's not happening in one night. It's a process you have to develop. When you start to feel whole world is mind, which means mind means not with desire. If you can accept, in Karnimetta Sutta, there is a simile that Buddha gave us. Mata yata niyam putta negasa putta. If you can see all living beings as my children, that is the maximum level that you can develop your metta, loving kindness. So, and at that time, you don't have any arguments, you don't have any fights, you don't have any kind of conflict with that people, because all are feeling as my children, my children. So that's the maximum level of your practice. So it is a process. So first of all, practice metta yourself, develop metta to yourself, loving kindness, compassion, sympathy, joy, equanimity yourself. Your metta is very important for you. Your metta is very important for you. You understand what I'm telling? First thing, protect what you are claiming as you through your loving kindness. If you are smoking, try to stop it because it is harmful to your body. If you are sleeping too much, it is also. Be loving kindness and compassionate to yourself, not to sleep too much. If you are eating too much, be mindful and be compassionate to yourself, not to eat too much. If you are using drugs, alcohol, be compassionate to yourself, not to use any of these and make harmful any harm to this body. Take care of this body. And when the time comes, take this body into bathroom and wash it. That is your compassion. And when the time comes, you feel my clothes are dirty. I don't know to put on this cloth into my body. I'm wishing good health. So therefore, wash your clothes. That is also your compassion. While you are doing all these things, don't do any harmful things to the environment because I'm part of the environment. I'm not separate from this environment. I'm part of this environment. So now you can see your loving kindness, compassion to yourself. Then you can develop towards others, all living beings, seen, unseen, living near or far, doesn't matter. You can develop your loving kindness there. So it is a gradual process. It takes time. but you need to practice. Meditation is not enough for that. Keep in your mind. Meditation is not enough. There are two more applications. You have to meditate as well as you have to practice generosity and you have to observe precepts. All these three applications are supposed to go together. This is big issue. Traditional Buddhist countries, they are following, no, we want to practice generosity. They are organizing dana, giving away, giving away, giving away, giving away, that's it. They don't practice sila and meditation. They don't do that. Westerners, what they are doing, they want to meditate, only meditate, 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 meditate. Who are coming here, our residents also always like to stay here in the meditation. That is laziness. That is not the real genuine practice. I'm struggling sometimes. Our residents always like to be here in the meditation hall, sitting here. That is not the practice. What about other applications? Generosity. How they can develop their generousness just practicing meditation, developing breathing meditation or mindfulness meditation, vipassana. You are developing your insight, your mind. That's not enough. You have to develop mindfulness through these three applications. So therefore, the Buddha's explanations, Buddha's teachings, not to be isolated in the society, not to be hyped in the society, living with others, sharing things with others. That is the simile given by Buddha in Karni Metta Sutta. Mata yata Bhuttam. If you feel all other living beings are my children, that is the real practice. So you have to have ability to share things with others. It's coming through practicing generousness. Developing your generousness, you can come to this level. And observing precepts, you can reduce your fear and doubt. So these are very important. Therefore, when you are talking about practice, don't think about practicing meditation is that the only path. And traditional people, you have to keep in your mind, dana is not enough. Sila and bhavana are supposed to go together with dana. Westerners are supposed to keep in their mind, meditation, bhavana is not enough. They have to apply other two things also. So then you can, yes, of course, generally you can develop compassion towards all living beings. I don't know this one. You can ask me later. I'll repeat that. What exactly is the difference between non-ill will, non-cruelty? Okay. Now you can see compassion and loving kindness, sympathetic joy, equanimity. These are very, look similar, but different. Non-ill will, you don't have any thoughts, harmful thoughts to yourself and others. Both. Non-cruelty, you don't have any actions there, cruel actions there. Ill will, mainly talking about your mind, and cruelty, mainly talking about your action. But both these are explained about the loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, these four qualities. Both things are explaining these four qualities. Is there any Dhamma, wisdom concerning one's dreams? this question is not clear. So I may not able to answer. If you really need get answer, 2 questions are here. I can show you. So you can meet me. So then I can answer these 2 questions because I don't understand these questions. If if I don't understand how I can answer your questions, I can't answer. I can give wrong answer for that. So I don't know to do that. But anyway, it's time's up. Okay, I took a few more minutes from your meditation time. But anyway, so far we answered most of your questions. 98% questions I answered. 2 questions are remaining with me. Please come to me and then we can discuss. Okay. Thank you very much. So take a break and come back to meditate.